Welcome to Todos Somos Marcos. Today I'm very pleased to be talking with Mexican activist and journalist Javier Elorriaga. Hi Javier. Javier, after the Zedillo government cracked down on the Zapatistas in February 1995, you were arrested and held in prison for more than a year, weren't you, for rebellion, sedition, riot, terrorism, and conspiracy? Is that what they said?
Yes, a lot of charges.
But were you ever tried?
Well, supposed to be. The trial last for 17 months, from 9 of February 95 to to May 96. In May they said I was guilty and give me 13 years.
That's right.
And 1 month later they said, no, you are not guilty, you can go out.
What role do you think that international attention and widespread attention in Mexico paid to that? Did that attention force the government?
Yes, because they don't have a legal basis, and they don't have a political basis too. So there's a lot of pressure in Mexico and outside Mexico. Without a legal basis, the government has to put me out of jail. Because the Zapatistas too said if Elorriaga is condemned to be a terrorist for being a Zapatista, so we don't want to talk anymore with the government, because the government said that we, the Zapatistas, are terroristas, and we are not. So we stopped the peace dialogue until you release Elorriaga and all the Zapatistas. Yeah.
Now, before you were arrested, weren't you acting as an intermediary between the Zapatistas and Zedillo, trying to get the dialogue going?
Yes, it was like a postman.
You were the postman, so they
the
arrested
letters
the
from one side to the other side. Yes, but I was doing that.
Well, since you've been freed, you've been very active in the Frente Zapatista de Liberación Nacional. Now, could you explain what that is and what its relationship with the Zapatistas is?
Well, I'll try to read it in English. The Frente is it's a civil organization, an open organization, a legal organization, not an armed organization, that fight for the same things that the Zapatistas fights: freedom, justice, democracy, liberty for all Mexico, but without arms, without sky mask.
Yes.
It's like to put in the practice, in the political practice, some ideas of the Zapatistas, not to change Mexico. But we think that no change that comes with arms is a real change. No, so we want to make that change not using an army. We understand that the Zapatistas has their guns, etc., because they're forced to. No, the government doesn't give them another way.
That's right.
But we said before all Mexico has to have a gun to make the changes, we have to make some political movement, a real movement to open democratic spaces. That's what the Frente is looking for, not to struggle for power, but to open democratic spaces.
And now the Zapatista, the EZLN, although they have arms and they will not put down their arms, they have largely pursued nonviolent political means, constantly trying to engage the government in dialogue and to force the society.
Yes, they began using the arms because I told you it was their last opportunity to say, here we are, we exist, and we want to exist and be part of Mexico and be part of the world. So they use the arms. But at 12 days, when they begin to use the arms, they heard they listened to the Mexican people saying, you are right, your struggle is just, is a right struggle, but try not to use the arms. try to explore all the political ways, and we walk with you without arms, the Mexican society, and change this country. So till the 12th of January of 1994, the Zapatistas still with their arms, but they don't use it.
Yes.
Why do they still have the arms? Because they are surrounded by federal army, surrounded by paramilitary groups. If they put down their arms, they completely be out of the world. I don't know what you say. No? So that they have to have the arms, but they are assured that if they fight with the arms, maybe they win over the federal army and put themselves in power with their arms. It's the same like the PRI or like other governments.
That's
no?
right.
They are a minority with power puts over the majority. And they said we don't need that in Mexico and in the world. We have to talk, we have to have a dialogue with the society, with other groups. We have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. So we have to look for the answers in common, in unity, and make the change political way, not military way.
Now, this is a call that people all over the world have responded to. I know I'm in contact with people from Europe. They always want to know about it.
Yeah.
And I know you are too. And from the United States, there's our group that I started this show in response to what I was seeing. But so that call to changing the fabric of society, to changing the world. I was very impressed when you spoke here soon after you were released. Somebody asked you, the first thing is to change Article 27 about the land reform. And your answer was, the first thing is to change the world. Now, I thought that was very beautiful and right on, and I think that that's what the people who are responding to this all over the world want too.
Yeah, the society is made by power relations between the citizens and between the citizens and the government. Always is a power relation. Who has the power, who has not the power. We must change that and make another kind of relations between the people and between the citizens and the government. No, not based in the power and in the obeying, but in another kind. What? I don't know. but that's the revolution we need. No, not a revolution who puts a group in power.
Yeah.
A revolution that changes the relations between the citizens and between the citizens and the governments. That's crazy thing that we're trying to make.
To invent a democracy that's more than something on paper, more than just the formality of the vote,
yes.
but
Now,
a true participation of
now
people.
the power said democracies you go every 6 or 4 or 5 or 20 years and
Yes.
put an X, no, in an electoral vote, no, and that's forget. You elect a president, elect a deputy, a governor, and they think for you, and they're gonna have your problems solved.
That's not really satisfactory, is it?
No, we said that's not. It's good for the 20th century or for the 21st century. It's not enough.
It's not enough.
Democracy is all days work. No, democracy is the real power from the basis,
That's right.
from the family, from the neighborhood, from the factory, from the school, and then go to the city, and then go to the state, and then go to the nation, and then go to the world. You must build another type of democracy, not based in delegate your decisions in nobody. You can have another kind of to take decisions, no, more collective decisions, really collective.
Is that, you're here in Los Angeles for a very quick visit. I know you have a lot of people to see, meetings, you're speaking at several universities, but I'm very glad you took time to talk to us. And,
No, well, it's nice to meet with your public, no?
Thank you.
The problem in Los Angeles is there are a lot of cars, a lot of freeways. You pass all the time in the
Sure.
stupid car. But well, the important thing is everybody has something to do to change this in Los Angeles or in Rome or in Chiapas or in Mexico City.
Yes.
No? And we have to listen a lot each other.
Yes.
Before to talk and read conference, we have to listen more. No?
Yes.
This helps for listeners.
Before I let you get away, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you of a more personal nature. When you spent that year in jail, I always thought that, I really admire people who have gone to prison for their political convictions and for speaking the truth to power. And I've always hoped that if I'm ever faced with that myself, I'll be able to draw on my inner resources to make it not a terrible experience, but a positive experience. What was it like for you to spend a year in jail as a political prisoner?
I don't know. The first week was hard because I haven't information from outside. No, I was in a security prison, very security, so I have no information what's going on. So I was nervous. What happened? Is a war in Chiapas or not? Is a war? What happened? No.
Yes, sure.
Who's my family? Who's my son? Etc. When I began to have information, and when I looked what the government was saying about terrorism, I think they are completely lost. No, they can't have me in jail a lot of time. It's impossible. There's a lot of people saying this unfair. The people is not in their houses. They are in the streets protesting and making march, etc., etc. There is no war in Chiapas. The compañeros are good. Every of we were in prison are now appear because a lot of were disappear. My wife will disappear some days, but now we know that they are in different jails, but they are appear. So I said it's question of time. They have to release us. Of course they have, because we win politically. No? They got the power, the force, the jail, but we have the reason of the history with us. And we are the support of the people, so it's a question of time only. No?
So you were confident, and
yes.
You're still confident. I can tell that from talking to you. Great. Thank you very much, Javier.
Gracias.
Nosotros somos el Ejército Zapatista de Liberación Nacional.
We are the Zapatista Army of National Liberation. For 10 years, we lived in these mountains, preparing to wage war. In these mountains, we built an army. Below, in the cities and in the haciendas, we didn't exist. Our lives were valued less than their machines or animals. We were like pebbles, like leaves you pass on a road. We didn't have a voice. We didn't have a face. We didn't have a name. We didn't have a tomorrow. We didn't exist. For those in power, clad in what today is known worldwide as neoliberalism, we didn't matter. We didn't produce. We didn't purchase. We didn't sell. We were a zero in the pockets of the great powers, the great capital. So we took to the mountains to search inside ourselves, to see if we could find comfort for the pain we felt at being mere pebbles and leaves. Here, in the mountains of the Mexican Southeast, our dead are alive. Our dead who live in the mountains know many things. Their spirits spoke to us, and we listened. They told us a story that came from yesterday and signaled toward tomorrow. The mountain spoke to us, the Maxewalo, a common and ordinary people, a simple people, as those in power call us. The days and the nights drag us over the ground, while the powerful ones dance the oxoltol and repeat their brutal conquest. The Caxtul, the false man, governs our land and has great war machines. And like the Bohob, which is half cougar and half horse, he spreads pain and death among us. The government sends us the Aluxob, the liars, who give our people deceit and oblivion. That's why we became soldiers, because we don't want any more death or deceit, because we don't want oblivion. The mountain told us to take arms so we could have a voice. It told us to mask ourselves so we could have a face. It told us to forget our names so we could be named anew. It told us to lay aside our past so we could have a tomorrow. In the mountains, the dead live, our dead. With them live the Votan and the Ican, light and darkness, mist and aridness, earth and wind, rain and fire. The mountain is the home of the Lachuvini, the original man, the high chief. It was there we learned and remembered that we are what we are, the original men and women. Now with our voices armed, with our hands freed, with our faces reborn, with our names renamed, our past has joined at the center of the 4 points of the Chan, Santa Cruz, the Bolamna. And a star was born that redefines men and reminds you that the world is made of 5 parts. And when the Chacob rode on the horseback, dispersing rain, we gathered again to talk amongst ourselves and to prepare the storm that would mark the time of the harvest. With the new year, we gave birth to the war and started on this path that has led us to your hearts, and which today has brought you to our heart. These are us, the Zapatista Army of National Liberation, the voice that arms itself to make itself heard, the face that hides itself so it can be seen, the name that conceals itself so that it can be named. The red star that calls man and the world so that they'll listen, so that they'll see, so that they'll name. We are the tomorrow that was sown yesterday. Behind our black masks, behind our armed voices, behind our concealed name, behind the us that you see, behind us is you. Behind us are the same simple, ordinary men and women that exists in every race, that are painted in every color, that are talked about in every tongue, and who live in all places. The same forgotten men and women, the same outcasts, the same intolerated, the same persecuted are the same you. Behind us, we are you. Behind our masks are the faces of all excluded women, of forgotten Native people, of persecuted homosexuals, of rejected youths, of beaten migrants, of those who have been imprisoned for their words or thoughts, of the humiliated workers, of the forsaken dead, of all of the simple men and women who don't matter, who aren't seen, who aren't named, who don't have a tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, we have invited you to this gathering, to come and search.
Ellos le llaman modernidad a la locura. Ellos le llaman diversión a los vicios. Ellos le llaman descanso a la haraganería. Hemos buscado educación y nos han dado ignorancia. Hemos buscado vida y nos han dado muerte. Hemos buscado medicinas y nos han dado venenos. Hemos buscado paz y nos han dado guerra y exterminio. Hemos buscado libertad y nos han dado imposición y control. Nuestros municipios les llaman municipios libres y los tienen bajo control y subyugados. Les llaman estados libres y soberanos y los tienen subyugados y controlados desde en el centro. Les llaman seguridad pública y son los que matan y roban. Son muchos los ejemplos. Ahí tenemos los compañeros perdidos y adormecidos por la educación burguesa. Tenemos a los presidentes priistas, que son los títeres del gobierno burgués. Tenemos los ignorantes jueces municipales que solo roban y encarcelan. Tenemos los regidores priistas que solo duermen en medio de la mierda. Tenemos los profesionistas y maestros indígenas que están perdidos y confundidos por la oscuridad e ignorancia, por las escuelas burguesas que les fueron despojados y arrebatados sus culturas, sus raíces, sus lenguas, sus corazones y sus conciencias. Ahí tenemos los policías y ejércitos que muchos de ellos son nuestros hermanos indígenas, que ahora están perdidos, confundidos y adormecidos, actuando bajo órdenes como robotes. Por eso, hacemos un llamado a todos los hermanos y hermanas que se encuentran en todos los rincones de la madre tierra, para llamarles que una nueva aurora está cerca, que la nueva luz está próxima, que el nuevo amanecer vendrá pronto. Es tiempo de prepararnos, es tiempo de despertarnos, para esperar y poder recibir el nuevo amanecer, para que ni uno ni dos se queden atrás de los demás. Porque tenemos que cobrarle lo que nos deben, tenemos que recuperar lo que nos han despojado durante 504 años. Hemos regado mucha sangre, hemos perdido muchas vidas. Con esa sangre han coloreado nuestros corazones. Con esa sangre hemos mantenido la resistencia. Con esa sangre hemos mantenido firmes nuestros corazones. Con esa sangre reflejará mejor el nuevo amanecer. Junto con esa sangre y los espíritus de nuestros muertos, construiremos la nueva sociedad. Ellos ya no han podido y ya no podrán, porque nos han cortado nuestras hojas, nos han comido nuestros frutos, nos han quemado nuestros troncos, pero no pudieron arrancar nuestras raíces. ¡Viva las regiones autónomas pluriétnicas de Chiapas! ¡Viva el Ejército Zapatista de Liberación Nacional! ¡Viva los pueblos indígenas! ¡Viva la lucha de los pueblos explotados y oprimidos! ¡Viva Chiapas! ¡Viva Chiapas! ¡Viva Chiapas! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!